So I want to thank everybody for their lovely comments on my first video back in the garden. Oh my gosh, you lot are so wonderful. But I wanted to share the comments that really have helped. So Davina and also Theo kind of said the same thing about to prevent overwhelm, just to concentrate on one tiny area at a time, which is of course fabulous. And I'm going to add to that, I think if we've got a job that is overwhelming, to concentrate on the beauty as well that you can find. So there's so much work to be done, but look, I'm going to take a moment to stop and appreciate this flowering jasmine, which was a tiny cutting given to me in a tiny pot on the school run. Look at it, it's absolutely gorgeous. I think it's the first year that it's properly flowered, and I think that taking the time to go, wow, look at this beauty here, even if you turn your head in any direction it's a mess and it's horrendous, even if that's the case, rather than just throwing that energy of angst and overwhelm into your plants, which I think you can do, or into your life or into your soul, you can find those moments, those patches of beauty and magic, and just take a moment to rejoice in it. I think that energy then gets into your soul. I know it definitely gets into the garden. The garden feels it. I think the garden feels not like a job. It doesn't feel like it's putting pressure on you. It feels that sense that you're loving it growing no matter what. And even these weeds, that's it growing. So we've got to celebrate it. And I think it goes for any walk in life that we're in. It doesn't just apply to gardening. We take that time to find those moments. And those two commenters both kind of said the same thing. Just focus on one tiny area, and one tiny area will lead to another tiny area. It's that idea of you can only do one job at a time. I learnt that when I was getting divorced, and it was so overwhelming, and I thought I just can't get through it. And then I thought I can always do the next job, because you could only ever do one thing at a time. I know that also within those comments, the advice to imagine putting down a hula hoop in your garden. So you've got an imaginary hula hoop. And I loved the fact that it was a circle. The circle is such a magical shape. So you've got a circle, imagine a circle to put down. So you've got this magic circle, or a hula hoop if you don't want to think of it as a magic circle, to put down a magic circle that's the size of a hula hoop, and you put that down on the ground, and that's the only bit of the garden that you're concerned with. It doesn't matter about all the other jobs around, you're just doing the hula hoop. You're bringing magic into that circle. I think as witches we do love that idea of raising energy within a circle, and I think it's again that idea of pouring love into the garden. We're not pouring angst into the garden because all the other jobs around the circle. We're taking that moment to bring safety and love and passion and growth just into that circle. But I love that advice to visualize a hula hoop. I love it. So I think I'm going to use it for housework. I'm going to use it for the garden. I'm going to use it for my letters. I'm going to imagine one letter at a time. One admin jobs are bad for me. I'm not very good with them. I get really stressed about admin jobs. That is a post-traumatic stress response to a 5-year divorce, where every envelope I opened was a utter disaster. And that stayed with me. But I think if I imagine picking up each letter and placing it in a magic circle, and that's the only thing I have to deal with, isn't that great advice? So thank you so much, guys. That's real life-giving advice that I've just really wanted to highlight for anybody that might not be in the comments reading other people's comments. You guys are just fabulous. So yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Yesterday I cleared the brambles inside the greenhouse. I was going to tidy up. Rupert, you're going to have to move, sweet pea. This dog, if he's not sorry, I'm trying to get into the greenhouse and he's literally just stood here. Rupert, you need to move, darling. My hula hoop yesterday was just every like pane of glass, clear it of brambles, clear it of brambles, clear it of brambles, and it hadn't actually broke the ceiling, which I thought it had, which was fantastic. It had come through this pane of glass here, which is out, but I knew that pane of glass broke last year. I was going to clear up. Look, you can see we've had like mice in here. It's really filthy. I was going to like just clear it all out, but to be honest, so many massive spiders landed on me. I'd had enough and I needed to take a break. But you can see all of this on the roof is brambles. Around the back of the greenhouse you can see it's just a wall of brambles, so that's the next hula hoop. But I've got to get into Tilly's secret garden and I wanted a strimmer for it. Look at this. So let me see, can I even get in at all? I'm in, guys, I'm in. So I'm in, and you can see normally I can walk around the greenhouse, but I can't at the moment. And normally I can see this garden and I can't at the moment. There is a lot to do, but we can do it because we're doing it one hula hoop at a time. And I'm going to celebrate the brambles because the brambles are so magical. So as I cut back these brambles, I'm going to talk to you about things about brambles that you might find really interesting, especially if you are on this witchy path, because I mean brambles are just fabulous. I am going to collect some of these little pink flowers because brambles are part of the rose family, and these little pinky white flowers are fantastic in love spells. Roses of course are linked to love, but brambles are also linked to protection, as you can see by the big thorns on them. And because of that, they're fantastic for that idea of bringing in more love, but with protection, especially if you've been hurt in the past, which is just perfect. And also I think for self-love, if you're in difficult circumstances, using these bramble roses are going to just be perfect. Look, there's a beautiful flower over there as well. Oh, Rupert, you hate a closed gate, don't you? This is what causes all the problems. The fact that you hate the closed gate so much. He's going, not me, Mum. Come on. I've got some new toys. So what I've been trying to deal with all of this garden with, I've been trying to do everything just with these little shears and an old strimmer which I've had for years. I'm missing a part. I'm missing this part here, and for the life of me I've turned the whole house upside down and I can't find it. So what I've done, I bought myself a new strimmer, and it was in the sale. It was a lot cheaper than I was expecting it to be honest, and it meant I had enough money to get a hedge trimmer. So for me, I think blackberry just has this very dark and deep power about it. For me, it grows on all of my boundaries, the boundaries with my neighbours on both sides. You can see it growing in hedges. It's very much that liminal space kind of plant. So for me, it also has associations with the liminal, which is about transformation and rebirthing yourself. So I think again that ties in brilliantly for self-love work. And if you're looking into the bramble or blackberry folklore history, you cannot get away from its association with the devil. It's said that the devil landed in a blackberry patch when he fell from heaven. They're sometimes called devil's grapes as well. And after September the 29th, the devil is said to place his cloven hoof on blackberries and they become his. Leaving them after that date is almost like an offering to the fae and the devil. But don't be put off working with bramble because of that, because like I said, those hoops that are formed in the ground from brambles, it does come down to intent. It's all not just all about dark, deep magic. It was used for many different forms of healing. Putting things through a bramble hoop was used for many things. And of course it does come with that huge protective element, just trying to clear the brambles, as you can see me doing here. I can really vouch for how protective it is. Sometimes blackberries were even planted on graves, said to keep the dead from walking, or wreaths of blackberries put on houses as well to protect them. There's definitely more light coming into the greenhouse now. You consider yesterday you couldn't get into the greenhouse and you couldn't see any light. You can see that that's so much better. I've trimmed this little bit here with the new strimmer, which is very good. This lavatera, I want to keep this here as an arch, but at the minute you have to really duck down. And you can see my yellow bucket for the weeds. It's a little bit overwhelmed. I wanted to show you some of the aspects of the bramble that I feel like I've been connecting with, because it is a chance to connect with your plants even when you're clearing them, because they're always going to come back. You can see here this root and this stem that I pulled out coming round, and all the roots coming off it. So wherever the bramble lands in the ground, it will form a new plant, and then you get this bramble arch, and it's that bramble arch that is so full of magic. It's often like I said, linked to evil spirits or the devil. It's said that you can evoke the devil by going through a bramble arch. I once found a bramble arch in the middle of the woods, and the energy coming off it was so sinister, is the only word I can say for it. But I think those bramble arches are very much to do with intent. They're not naturally sinister. So I think it's the intent that you go through a bramble arch with, hence the fact that it has been used in birthing rituals, it's been used in healing rituals over the time, like going through a bramble arch or passing objects through a bramble arch to bring spirits into them, or to heal people, or to create an object that can heal. All of that is historic in working with the bramble. It's this element of the roots putting down like this that mean that you do get those arches. I've got them in my front garden, and they make huge arches in the front garden. And also the blackberries that they give you, my goodness me, I've still got a freezer full of last year's blackberries, although my cut-off point for blackberries for picking them is the end of September, so I never go past the end of September for blackberry picking. So here I've unearthed some of the hostas that I planted a couple of years ago. I also very carefully had to untangle from the brambles this clematis that got all tangled in. Still need to fix that up a bit more carefully. I have been collecting some bramble canes as well. I might make it's called a spirit flail, which you can create with 9 of these canes, but the length from your elbow to the end of your finger, but I can cut, they're so long I can make a couple out of one, just to get rid of bad energy. And I think I might do that for my kitchen, to create that self-love element, along with flower essence to bring self-love in, just to get rid of that bad energy around food and like misusing food. So that's why I've put these canes to one side. So we can see the table again, which needs a repaint, but I've also collected some of the flowering tips of the bramble. I think I'm going to wait, because next Tuesday or Wednesday I think it is full moon, and I might give them some more time. Oh look, there's a bumblebee. I might give them some more time to flower and harvest under a full moon, to make my flower essence. It'll give me a chance to get some spring water and some alcohol in for the flower essence. Oh look, that little bee is very, very happy. It just goes to show that I've cut these down, but wildlife actually doesn't discriminate between what we call weeds or unwanted plants. These are flowers that it's really, really enjoying. Look at that. That's just so beautiful, and it kind of makes me feel bad for cutting them down, but at the end of the day I am going to bring more light in, which will create more growth and more flowers elsewhere in the garden. So it's give and take, isn't it? And if you see now, I think I might need a new fence panel at some point, but I can begin to see the back of the greenhouse, which is amazing. He's chasing foxes again. He keeps pushing around the back of the composting bins there. I'm scared he's going to get out, and when I look at him you can just sense they're there. So it's evening now. I've just done everybody's dinner. I'm just out to do one last little look. Oh look, the bumblebees are out having dinner again as well. Very little bottoms poking out, which is wonderful. So it's gone really well today, and I've really enjoyed it. It's been a lovely day. You can see it looks a lot better. So I've brought out a book to show you if you are interested in finding out more about brambles. This Corinne Boyer book, Under the Bramble Arch, is fabulous. It's where I've got most of my information about brambles from, including personal gnosis as well. That idea of the rose and love but with thorns was something that I worked with anyway. It just felt like a natural element of the plant once you work with it, if it's in your environment and you're used to being around it. It is mentioned in here as well, along with many other things. So this book, Corinne Boyer writes fantastically about plants, and the bramble is the very first chapter, if I remember correctly. Yeah, blackberries. And she tells you all about the folklore, all about the healing properties, the medicines, personal practice, different things you can do with it. So you've got a chapter that's that long. It's a really great little book actually. Other plants are spoken about. You've got things like yarrow, St. John's wort, mugwort, the rose, clover, white and red, the stinging nettle, the dandelion, all of your key plants, especially if you're here in Britain, like dock, violets, burdock, mistletoe, English ivy, tansy, teasel, and then blackberry at the very front. So I would highly recommend anything by Corinne Boyer. I haven't read all of this book. It's one that I will come to as I want to know things, as I'm working with things. I'm very interested to work with dock because I've got a lot of dock leaves in the garden as well. I just think it's so important to relate this all the time back to your own personal practice, your own location, where you actually are. And for me, this book just fits brilliantly with my own garden, as you've seen. So guys, that's it for today. I hope you're going to enjoy these garden videos. I do want to upload more, like even like a daily walk around the garden during summer, and just to put more gardening on this channel. I am loving it, and it's just easy for me to film what I'm doing and all the witchcraft elements in that. So I hope you're going to enjoy it, and thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time, possibly tomorrow.